you a lot of time and effort and money optimizing your sites for the wrong keywords, and also how you can uncover keywords that most Market Samurai users will overlook just by using an advanced feature that's already inside Market Samurai. What we're going to have a look at today is all about the PBR column here. PBR stands for phrase to broad match, and what phrase to broad match does is it has a look at the ratio of the keywords being used, or the words inside the keyword being used in a particular order versus in all of the other particular orders. So let me see if I can explain that a little bit better by giving you an example. Let's have a look at this top keyword here, knitting blogs. The words knitting blogs appear roughly 100% of the time in that order. So it would be very rare to see someone searching for blogs knitting or knitting needles. This is another good example. It would be rare to see someone searching for needles knitting. Roughly 100% of the time they're searching for knitting needles. Let's have a look. Knitting club, they're searching for knitting club roughly 100% of the time in that order. They're not searching for club knitting, for example, or club on knitting, or club for knitting, or club about knitting, or anything like that. They're searching for knitting club. They're not searching for club for knitting, or they're not searching for club knitting, for example. What this does is it allows you to it prevents you from optimizing for keywords that are in the wrong order. And I'll scroll down to the bottom and see if I can find a good example. Knitting scarf pattern. That doesn't sound right, does it? You'd pretty much expect that to be scarf, scarf knitting pattern, or scarf pattern for knitting, for example. That sounds like it's a real phrase. It's how people would likely search for it. But here we see it's showing up inside Market Samurai as knitting scarf pattern. And if we optimized for that, we might not get very much traffic because we weren't optimized for the right word order. We'd probably be better off optimizing for knitting, scarf knitting pattern. So what we can do very quickly is we can filter out any of these keywords that have very low PBR scores by using the filter just here, the PBR filter, and we can get rid of the keywords that are in weird and wonderful word orders so that we can just ignore them and put them aside and move past them and focus on the keywords that are already in Market Samurai in the right word orders. However, I noticed recently that one of our Market Samurai users, hi Shannon, came across a keyword that had very high levels of traffic but a very low PBR score. Sometimes PBR can be deceptive. In the case of knitting scarf pattern, it sounds like we might be able to find a word order that keyword would work in. Sorry for the tongue twister. Let's click on the key icon here and dig down into it and see if we can find a word order that works. We'll go into the keyword research area and we hit the add permutations button here. And what that does is it takes the keyword and all the words in the keyword and mixes and matches them up so that all of the different word orders that are there for the keyword are displayed. You can research each one of them individually. And here we see knitting scarf pattern, knitting pattern scarf, scarf knitting pattern, scarf pattern knitting, pattern knitting scarf, pattern scarf knitting. So we've got all of the different orders that these words can be displayed in. And if we analyze them, let's hit analyze, we see that, as we thought, scarf knitting pattern is much better. It's much more frequently used than knitting scarf pattern. It's scarf knitting pattern has a PBR score of 36%, which is 6 times higher than knitting scarf pattern at 6%. So by optimizing for the right version of the keyword, we could potentially get a lot more traffic to our site than if we optimized for the wrong version of the keyword. And chances are we'd rank for the right version much easier. In fact, you would definitely rank for the right version much easier, and so forth. This is important to look out for because early on, when the first users of Market Samurai were using Market Samurai, we noticed that people were picking up weird and wonderful combinations of keywords like knitting scarf pattern and seeing low SEO scores because no one really used that phrase on a web page and thinking it was a great term to optimize for. But with the add permutations tool on the phrase to broad match ratio tool, we can actually find out which are the best keyword combinations to use, which are the right word orders to use. So these are some really good tools for uncovering keywords that other people might be missing out on or might be overlooking using the add permutations tool, and filtering out keywords that have the wrong word orders that really aren't optimized or really aren't great to optimize for, because you'll only be able to pick up a fraction of the traffic that's out there in the market. So hopefully this helps you to get more traffic to your website and avoid wasting a lot of time and effort optimizing for the wrong keywords.